Day 25 Word of God Genesis chapter 48 verse 4. Behold, I will make you fruitful and multiply you, and I will make of you a multitude of people, and give this land to your descendants after you as an everlasting possession. Genesis chapter 48 recounts the blessing of Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, by their grandfather Jacob, Israel. Jacob, nearing the end of his life, calls Joseph to bless his sons before he dies. This verse specifically refers to Jacob's promise to Joseph regarding the future prosperity and inheritance of his descendants. Jacob's blessing on Joseph's sons is significant because it continues the covenant promises made to Abraham and Isaac, ensuring that their descendants would become a great nation and inherit the land promised by God. Behold, I will make you fruitful and multiply you, indicates God's intention to bless Joseph's descendants with fertility and abundance. This promise echoes the blessings given to Abraham and Isaac, emphasizing God's faithfulness to his covenant promises. I will make of you a multitude of people, reinforces the idea of God's multiplication of Joseph's descendants into a great nation. This promise not only pertains to numerical growth but also to their influence and impact as a people chosen by God. Give this land to your descendants after you as an everlasting possession, reaffirms the land promise, the promised land, that God made to Abraham and Isaac, now extending it to Joseph's descendants. This inheritance is not only physical but also symbolic of God's eternal covenant with his people. Throughout the Old Testament, God fulfills his promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob by multiplying their descendants and eventually leading them into the promised land. The conquest of Canaan under Joshua, Joshua chapter 1:12, demonstrates God's faithfulness in giving the land to the Israelites as an inheritance. In the New Testament, the Apostle Paul refers to the promises made to Abraham and his seed being fulfilled through Christ, Galatians chapter 3 verse 16-18. This demonstrates the continuity of God's covenant promises from the Old Testament to the New Testament. For believers today, Genesis chapter 48 verse 4 underscores God's faithfulness in fulfilling his promises over generations. It reminds us that God's blessings extend not only to individuals but also to families and nations who trust and obey him. This verse encourages us to trust in God's providence and promises, knowing that he is faithful to fulfill his plans for us. It challenges us to seek God's blessings in our lives and to pass on a legacy of faith to future generations. God bless you and give you grace after grace.